What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. I think the last video on my YouTube was probably the Dallas vlog, and that was in 2023, and it's now 2025, but that's neither here nor there. The fact is that we're here. Okay, we gotta unpack a lot that has happened. I get anxious talking about it. I get very nervous. Like, even the thought of talking about it makes my chest feel tight. It makes me feel short of breath, and that's something that I have to learn how to now navigate and learn how to overcome as I heal and as I go through therapy. Once I start going to therapy and stuff, that's something I have to learn about. But even knowing I'm about to talk about what I'm about to talk about, it's making me feel anxious, but we're gonna talk about it. But first and foremost, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe down below, like, comment, share with your mom, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, whoever, everyone. And let's just go ahead and hop into it. So it's the weekend. I think January 4th was a Saturday, so we're gonna go back to January 3rd. January 3rd, me and my husband had been going back and forth about, are we going to Franklinton or not. My dad's mother, I have a stepfather, but he's pretty much my biological father. His mom passed, and I'm not gonna say I was like close to her, but I did really like her, so I wanted to attend and be at the funeral and support. So we were going back and forth of if we were gonna go to the funeral or not, which was in Franklinton. Franklinton is about an hour. Franklinton's about 2 hours away from me, and we both worked Friday, so it's either we leave Friday night and head to Louisiana Friday night, or we leave Saturday morning. We end up leaving Saturday morning, and we rushing. My daughter's already down there, so it's just me, him, and the boys. We rushing, trying to get down there, and pray for traveling graces. And we get down there, we go to the funeral, we go to the burial site. So after burial site, I asked my mom, I say, where y'all going? And they said they were going to the repast. Me and my husband, we wanted seafood. We wanted fiery crab. If you know, you know, fiery crab is like the best place to get a boiled egg, like the best. No place has topped it. So me and my husband, we wanted fiery crab. He's never had it, and I love it, so he wanted to try it. We said we was gonna go fire crab. Cool. So we didn't go to the repast. We ended up going to my auntie's house, who, she's the same age as me, so I really don't be calling her my auntie, but she my auntie. And we went to her house and saw her, my cousins, like my papa, hugging them, talking to them. Mind you, before this car wreck even happened, before we got into 2025, we planned our whole year. Like, January 1st, we doing this, 2nd, this, 3rd, this, 4th, this, 5th, this. Like, we had every day planned verbatim. We had date nights planned, ministry stuff planned, personal stuff planned. We had our whole year planned and knew what we was doing. We just knew what was going on. But we see my papa. I get out, I hug my papa because I ain't seen him in a long time. I go in there, I'm talking to my cousins. They haven't seen my baby boys. They've seen Maddie, but they have never seen my baby boys. So they got to see Malachi, they got to see Micah, hug them, play with them. And Malachi outside playing on the swing set. Cool. Everything just seems normal. They get some food, and we like, man, we hungry. We haven't really ate because we went to the funeral. We was up moving, rushing this morning. So we gonna go ahead and get something to eat. We called our brother Akeem because we were going to meet up with him. We called him to meet up with him. He not where he's supposed to be. So it's like, okay, cool. We just gonna go. Y'all, from my aunt's house to the actual crash site was no more than 30 minutes. No more than 30 minutes. My husband posted a picture on Facebook. What time? Let me go back and look. My husband posted this picture We were leaving my aunt's house. We were leaving. He posted that picture maybe at about 3:35, 3:45, somewhere in that area. His Apple Watch called 911 because we got into an accident at 4 o'clock. 4:03, 4 o'clock. So it wasn't even 15 minutes after we left. And after we left her house, like, it was like laughing, talk about, we'll see each other later, whatever. And then boom, accident. So here's what happened. Honestly, there's not much that I remember. I'm gonna be real honest. There's not much that I remember, but I can only give my point of view of what happened and what I've learned and what I've heard from different point of views. So we're driving. I don't even remember leaving out of Franklinton. Like, if you're from Franklinton, once you leave out over that bridge, like passing up Winn-Dixie and Wendy's and Save-A-Lot, or I think they changed it to Rose's now. Once you leave over that bridge, I don't even remember going over that bridge. I don't remember, like, after getting in the car and leaving my aunt's house, backing out, anything after backing out of her driveway, I don't remember. I do not remember for the life of me. I don't even remember driving onto 16 at all. I was the driver in the accident. My husband was in the passenger seat and our kids were in the back seat. We're driving, apparently, somehow, going to fire grab. Next thing you know, right before I wake up, it was like something out of a movie, like in a movie where you have a flashback and then they wake up. Because I was out. They said I was out at the scene unconscious for 45 minutes. So right before I woke up, I did not know what was happening. I did not have a clue as to what was going on. But right before I woke up at the scene, I saw a red truck flying towards us, like in our lane, flying towards us. Another point of view. People had already been calling the cops saying there's a red truck swerving on 16. They're going from lane to lane, reckless driving, whatever. There was 2 cars in front of us. They dodged him. About time the car in front of us moved. Oh my gosh, I have so much anxiety talking about it. Before, right, my mind just blanked out. My anxiety's through the roof. Because thinking about going back to that place is just a lot for me. It's a lot. But the car in front of us moved. And by the time they moved, there was no time for us to react, to try to hurry up and swerve and dodge him. He was like in front of us. And he crashed into us head on. So right before I woke up, I saw a red truck flying into us. And it's like when his car hit ours, in my mind, I woke up and I said, and I was so confused. I was so confused. And my hands were still on the wheel. I did not have my phone in my hand. I was not distracted. I don't even think we had music playing. Like, I was literally just driving. My husband said he was looking down at his phone because he was getting something from Micah. Maybe like a passy or a bottle, I'm not sure. But he was getting something out the baby's bag. And he was looking down when the collision happened. So he didn't see the car. But he heard me. And then boom, crash. So I wake up after, in my head, seeing a red truck hit us. I woke up. But mind you, like I said, they said I was out for 45 minutes. So it was just complete darkness, honestly, for a while. And I looked around, but like stuff was still kind of foggy. And I looked over this shoulder and I saw grass, like nothing but grass. And I was like, why is there grass? Because in my mind, my last memory was heading towards fire grab. That didn't look like seafood to me. It didn't look like the parking lot. It didn't look like the building. So I'm confused. I'm like, why is there grass? And then I'm realizing like I'm waking up. So I'm like, when did I go to sleep? Like it's not processing. Then I look in front of me. Both my hands are still on the wheel. I'm not sure if it'll show my arm cut up because I can't do it with this hand. But my arm was like sliced open and chunks of it was like out. And blood was falling out of my arm because of the chunks being out my arm. And it, yeah. Then this wrist was completely bent out of shape. I'm gonna add in like video footage and pictures into here as well. But my wrist was completely bent out of shape. Like when I tell you bent out of shape, I don't even know how it's possible for that to happen. I don't know. But I'm still holding on to the wheel. But I'm looking at my arm and I'm seeing the chunks and I see my wrist. And then I look forward and there's glass. There's the roof. There's the whole car. The whole like car was in my lap. Like literally in my lap. And I'm holding on to the wheel. And I see like the dashboard and stuff. It was like in my lap and stuff. And I'm holding on to the wheel and I'm compacted. I realize I'm compacted in the car because I try to move myself and I can't move. So I'm stuck in there. And it starts clicking like a little bit. But I'm like, I don't know if I was in denial or if I was still groggy from being out. But it's clicking because I'm seeing the glass. There's blood everywhere and the car's in my lap. But what made it finally click, I looked over this shoulder and the passenger door is open. And I look behind me, my kids are out the car. I still see Michael's car seat. Come find out, Michael was still in the car when I woke up. But somebody came and got him out, like shortly after I woke up. A Mexican man came and got him out. And he slept through the whole wreck. He was the only one unfazed. Not a scratch, not a mark, not a cut, not nothing. He has no showings of the wreck. He slept through the whole thing, drank a bottle, went back to sleep. He was fine. But I looked over my shoulder, the passenger door is open and my husband is on the ground. And I see him and he's bawling, he's crying. And he says, somebody please get her out. Somebody please get her out. And that's when it clicked and like reality hit. You're stuck in a car. Y'all were in an accident. This is real. So I see him, but I can't talk to him. Like, because from there, I just go into like shock mode. And my adrenaline is through the roof right now. And I'm in shock because I see him on the ground. When the accident happened, he opened the door to try to help us, to try to help me and the kids. But when he got out, he fell to the ground because he was injured. And he couldn't get back up. And once people saw the accident, they started getting out. They started running towards us. They wouldn't let him get up. I'm trying to push through this. I'm going to push through it. So he was on the ground and he couldn't get up. And he's just looking at us and he's crying. And he's like, somebody please get them out. Somebody please get them out. And he's watching his kids and his wife stuck in a car. My son, they said he was screaming. Malachi, he was screaming. He broke his wrist, he broke his ankle. So I'm pretty sure he was screaming from being scared and the collision and the pain because he broke bones. My daughter, I'm not sure if they said she went unconscious at the scene or what, but they did say she had a big knot on her head. But I think he said she was crying too. My daughter had a seizure on site. And I'm glad I did not see that. I would not have been able to take that. Seeing my baby seize, I wouldn't have. But she had a seizure on site. She had a concussion, broken ribs, I think a cervical sprain because she had to have a neck brace on for a while, abdominal bruising, like, and she's still suffering right now to this day. She's been throwing up every day since the accident. Accident was 2 months ago. We have no answers as to why she has to have a procedure done. It's a lot going on. Like, her procedure is early March, so that's that. And then he's injured and he's on the ground. I'm stuck in the car. Nobody can get me out, and they don't want to try to pull at me because they see that the car is on me. So once I wake up, like, I don't panic. I don't start freaking out. Like, once the realization hits, I don't freak out. It was the peace of God keeping me, because I'm a person who's gonna panic. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna lose my mind. I got anxiety, like, and I'm claustrophobic, and the car is smushed on me. Like, I wish I could explain what I saw and what it felt like, but you can't. And that's not something that anybody would want to imagine. But there is a picture where, like, they had kind of got it off of me, and I was like over, you could see the top of my head, but even then it was still compacted on me. But I was like compacted in the car, but my hands are still on the wheel, like I'm still in position, like I'm driving. So a man runs up to me. He's like, "Are you okay? What's your name? How old are you? Do you have kids? What's their names? Are you married? What's his name? What year is it?" Like, just asking me questions to make sure I'm coherent, I'm guessing. And I'm answering the questions. I'm like, "I'm Kiara, it's 2025, January 4th. I have 3 kids. Malachi Micah Madison. I'm married." Like, I'm answering the questions. He's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm okay. I'm okay." Like, that was my answer. Every time anybody asked me something, I was like, "I'm okay. I'm okay." And he's like, "Okay." I said, "Is someone coming to get me?" And he was like, "Yes." I said, "So I'm going to be able to get out? You're going to be able to get me out? I'm not going to be stuck here?" He's like, "No, you're not going to be stuck. We're going to get you out there on the way now." And I said, "Okay." He said, "Just stay calm, breathe." I said, "Okay, I'm fine. I'm okay." But what made me start freaking out, the man who hit us, he was a drunk driver. And he was also compacted in his car. He was stuck. But they hadn't made it to the scene yet. His engine set on fire, and it spread throughout his car. But I didn't know it was on fire because I'm stuck in my own car and I'm facing the opposite way. So I started seeing smoke. Immediately, I panic. I get scared. Like, and I'm trying to keep it under control because when I panic, like, I go into full-blown panic attack, and I didn't want to set myself, like, into a frenzy being stuck in the car. So I'm trying to keep myself calm, but I see smoke. I said, "Can someone get me out? Get me out, please. Somebody, please get me out. Get me out." And they said, "That's not your car. It's not your car. It's, the other person's car. It's on fire. Your car isn't smoking. You're fine. You're okay." I said, No. Somebody, please get me out. Get me out." He's like, "Okay, we're going to get you out. We're going to get you out." And he turns to walk off. I said, "Don't leave me," because I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm stuck in a car. I'm seeing smoke. All my kids are out of the car, and y'all tell me another man's car, the man who hit us, his car is on fire, but I'm stuck. I don't know what could happen. His car could explode and trigger something. I don't know. Like, all kind of things are going through my mind. So I'm like, "Please get me out." And he walks to try to go get somebody else. He said, "Don't leave." I said, "Don't leave me." He said, Okay. And he turned to somebody else. He said, "She doesn't want me to leave her. Go check on something." I sit there for a few more minutes, and they walk up to me and they said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I said, "I'm fine. I just want to get out." And he said, "Okay, we're going to get you out." They get the tools out, and they start pushing the car off my lap. It was like some kind of, I don't know how to explain that tool. It was some kind of tool, and they started pushing the car off my lap. But when they started pushing it off my lap, it started cutting into the bottom of my legs. I said, my legs." And they looked somehow, and they said, "It's going into her legs. We have to get some other tool." I don't know the name of it. So they went and they got another tool. It looks almost like a drill, and they put it onto the dashboard, and they pushed it off the top of my legs. And they got it off enough and they said, okay, we're about to clip your seatbelt and we're going to pull you out. We're going to lift it up a little bit more. We're going to clip your seatbelt. We're going to pull you out. I said, okay. They clipped the seatbelt and they pushed it off a little more. My body had no strength, none. I fell over like to the side into the man's arms. He said, I'm going to cover your face up so glass doesn't cut you and we're going to pull you out, okay? I said, okay. About time they started pulling me, I could already feel every ounce of adrenaline leaving. And the scream I let out was horrible because all the pain hit me. Once all the weight was off my lap and I fell over and I was able to be moved and they had to pull me out of there, you could feel everything. At first, I couldn't feel nothing. I don't know if it was adrenaline or it was the fact that something was on there, cutting my circulation. I don't know. I couldn't feel nothing, but when they pulled me, I felt everything, all the pain, and it was horrible. I've never in my life felt pain like that, ever. And it shoots through your whole body. My whole body was hurting, but my legs were hurting so bad. So they pulled me out. They put me on like the little stretcher thingy, not like the hospital stretcher because they hadn't made it, but it was like a hard thingy that they lay on. And they laid me on the ground. Meanwhile, me in my mind, it's funny. The situation is not funny, but my sense of humor, if you know me, like I'm thrown off. So even while being hurt in my mind, I'm still me because it's cold. I had on a dress because we went to a funeral. So in my head, I'm like, man, it's cold. Like, can I get a blanket? But I didn't say nothing because I'm out of it still. Because adrenaline is gone, and mentally, I'm in and out. For the first week of the accident, I was in and out. I had bits and pieces of memory. So they laid me on the ground. By the time they laid me onto the ground, I wish y'all could hear this story. I wish y'all could hear this story from my sister's point of view. It's hilarious. My girl was stressed out, but it was hilarious. But my mom was told about the accident because my sister has my location. My location was not moving. It was stuck on 16. Somebody had posted about an accident, a silver Equinox, which is what we had, and a red car. And my sister saw it. She's like, do they got Mississippi tags? Yeah, they do. It was us. My sister lost her mind, called my mama, told my mama we got in an accident. My mama headed towards us. By the time they got to us, traffic was like backed up. So my mom said they threw their car and parked, turned on their emergency lights, and ran to me. That was sweet. When I heard, I was like, oh, they ran to me. Anyway, once I got onto the ground, they were making it to me. My dad was the first person I heard. And that day, I know it had to be a lot because he just left his mom's funeral. Now his daughter's in a car crash. But he was the first person I heard. And he screamed. And he just screamed. And he was like, my baby. And he screamed. Like, I'm going to put the picture in of what I looked like on the ground. So seeing that, I'm sure it did not look good. And by the time my mama got to me, she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And you could tell she was crying. She said that the cops had told her, like, to go check on the kids first. She had already checked on Zeph and stuff, and they was trying to keep her calm because they didn't want her to panic seeing me. But she got to me. I could tell she was crying. She's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm okay. And she still to this day thinks I'm insane because I'm just like, I'm okay. And she's looking at me and she's like, bro, you're not okay. Like, your legs about twisted backwards. Your wrist is completely bent out of shape. You cut up. You're not okay. But I was like, I'm okay. They called for helicopters, and the helicopters and the ambulance got there. The boys and my husband got into the ambulance. They put Maddie in a helicopter because she was seizing. They put her in a helicopter, and she went to Baton Rouge. Me, Zeph, and the boys went to Hammond, to North Oaks. I had to be airlifted, so they put me in a helicopter. I'm so glad I was not really coherent for that because I'm claustrophobic and my face was about in the ceiling. I did not like it, and I would never get on the helicopter again. But we got there, and when I get out, they pull me out on the stretcher. I hear my sister, and she's calling me, and I'm like, I'm okay, I'm okay. And everybody's just crying, and they get me in there, and then there's a blank right there. My mom said they had to put me out to turn my legs and set them in place, so I'm guessing that's where the blank comes. I was put under, and I wake up and I see cops over me, I see the doctors over me, I see my parents, I see my pastor and Mama B, I see Jeremiah, and I'm confused again because everybody over me is bright lights everywhere, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I was in an accident. I'm caught up. They have me signing papers with my one bad hand, and to do like toxology to make sure I wasn't drunk or under influence. I wasn't, and the guy who hit us was. But it's just so many blanks after that. There's another one, and then I remember waking up again, and they said, we're going to take you up to ICU. We're going to admit you. And that's to be expected because I was in bad shape. And I said, where's my husband? Like, where are my kids? Maddie was at another hospital. And I asked to see, like, my boys and to see my husband. And they said, we're going to pass them up on the way up to your hospital room. We'll stop and let you see him. They wheeled me in to see him. My grandmother's in there. You know, his cousins are in, 2 of his cousins are in there. And his brother and his brother's fiance. I think they were all in there. And everybody goes in there. Who's with me? Pop and Mama, and then my parents. We all go in there. And as soon as I see my husband, I see him, he's bloody, his lip is busted, it's swollen. Like, I just see blood all over him. As soon as we see each other, we bawl. And I'm just like, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's asking me at the same time, like, are you okay? Are you okay? Because we hadn't seen each other at the scene. After they started working on me, they moved him away. So his last memory was seeing me stuck in a car unconscious and me waking up and me seeing him on the ground crying, saying, please get her out. I didn't know what else happened or if anything else had happened. So we both asked each other at the same time, like, are you okay? Are you okay? And we're crying and we're crying. And I just look at him and I try to grab his hand. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Because, you know, even though the cops told me and the people at the scene told me, you know, it wasn't my fault and there was no way we could dodge him. There was no way missing him. Like, by the time the car in front of us moved, there was no way. There was nothing we could do. Even hearing that, still as the driver, you feel guilty. So I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. He's like, it's okay, you know, you didn't do anything. Everybody's like, you didn't do anything, you didn't do anything, it's okay. And I'm just crying, I'm a mess. And I'm like, where are my babies? Where are my babies? They bring Micah in. Micah is so unserious. He has a thing for sticking his tongue out at people. So they bring Micah in. I said, hi. He looked at me. He's like, he was just smiling and sticking his tongue out. Okay, you're all right. Where's Malachi? Malachi, they bring him in. They show him to me. He's asleep, but, you know, they tell me he's injured. So I'm like, oh, God. Maddie's injured. She's at another hospital. I'm looking as if he's battered. I was a mess. They bring me up to my room. They didn't let me stay in there long. His brother, he looks at me. He's like, don't worry about it. Wherever the boys go, I go. You get better. We got them. I'm like, okay. They bring me up to my room. That's all I remember from that day. The next day, I was having surgery on my legs. My right leg is broken all the way down. My left leg, it was just the femur. So I had rods placed in both legs. They went in through my knees. One knee was busted open at the seam. So they just went in through that, put the rod through. And then they cut the other one open, put the rod through. I had plates and pins put into my hand. But that was like a week or 2 after being in the hospital. I stayed in there for almost a month. But the next day after the accident was when they did my legs. So both legs are wrapped all the way down. This arm's wrapped all the way down. This arm's wrapped all the way down. My face is bloody and beaten. My tongue was sliced like almost in half. Like I could lift a part of my tongue up. And still to this day, still kind of numb and weird. But it was a lot. I had to get 3 procedures done. I had to get 3 blood transfusions. I had to get clots removed from my lungs. My blood pressure was out of control. My heart rate out of control. Oxygen level low. I had a fever that would not break for 2 weeks straight. So I'm going from shaking and sweating to shivering, and then because I was just shaking and sweating, my gown is soaking wet, and now I'm cold and the air's on and my gown wet and I'm freezing. It was a lot. It was a lot. I could not see my husband. He was at a separate hospital. My boys, separate hospital. Well, Micah, he was not there, but everybody was separated. My daughter in a whole different city. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. And then we go into hospitalization and procedures and starting PT in hospital and all of that. But that's what happened the day of. There's still so much more to unpack. There's still so much more that happened afterwards, but I don't want this to be a super long video. I just wanted this to be like a what happened. I'll probably do another sit down with my husband next with a where are we now. But I just wanted to unpack what happened day of first to kind of catch everybody up to speed from our point of view and what it looked like. So much. There's so much to unpack. If I try to unpack everything, this video would be days and days long. Literally days. So we're gonna stop there. But make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are in tune and keeping in touch so you can keep up with the journey of what's been going on and updates and everything like that. But that's what happened. That's all she wrote. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, what kind of peace? That was supposed to be a peace sign. It's not. See you in the next video.